Hi everyone. So I decided to compose my final presentation of some overwhelming ideas, my big takeaways for the course. And obviously the theme throughout this course was formative assessment and how it shapes the learning that we inspire in our classrooms. So I had on page 4, formative assessment, assessment can be used formatively or summatively. It's all on how we use that assessment that we've created. So I had an idea from Pinterest, a goal ball machine, just kind of a neat way to inspire students to set those goals for themselves, making sure that they're specific, measurable, assignable, realistic, and time related. And this relates to the goal orientation that we inspire as teachers. The next big idea that I have is growth mindset, and that was really an underlying idea throughout the course. I can't do this yet, but what can I do if I work towards it? That's really the mindset that we need to inspire within our students. On page 83, there was an idea about peer assessment and not looking at peer assessment in a traditional sense as you're evaluating your peers, but looking at their work to inspire improvement within your own work. And I think that's a great idea, and it's a completely new insight for me as a teacher. The next big idea I had was the CABD model for creating lesson objectives, and this ensures that our objectives are indeed measurable and that our learning targets are clear so that our students can have confidence and better chances at mastering those objectives that we've set. The next big idea I had are mistakes are proof that you are trying, and I had on this one hashtag practice what you preach. I think that's important because we can be hard on ourselves as teachers, and we don't want our students to fall into that. So I think we need to adopt that for ourselves. Self-assessment. Unless they come to understand their strengths and weaknesses and how they might deal with them, they will not make progress. That was from page 145, and I thought that was a huge idea moving forward, the whole idea of metacognition and really teaching that to your students. I see where I made my mistake. I discovered why I made this mistake. This is from page 239, and this was a really empowering statement that I found as I was reading the text. The next idea is hashtag roadmap, and this is the whole idea of, developing that study plan, that guide for learning. And I love how the chapter gives us, or the book gives us so many ideas for not only inspiring students to develop that, but putting them in charge of deciding where their goals are going to take them. One strategy for this was the student revision letter, and that strategy was presented on page 252. I love this because I think, especially for elementary kids, when it's written down, it's more concrete and they tend to stick to it a little bit better. Avoid fruitless nagging. I think this is a bit of constructive criticism that we can all take into consideration. It's easy for us to keep hammering into our students what they need to be better at. But we need to keep in mind that sometimes reteaching is better than constant feedback. Hashtag I can. Helping students act on feedback creates in students a sense of trust and belief in themselves as capable learners. This was on page 224, and I included the confidence cycle and kind of some ideas that go into helping inspire that. They haven't learned it wrong, they just haven't learned it yet. This is a huge idea for me off of page 207. For incomplete understandings and learning needs. I feel like this needs to be on a plaque in every teacher's room. It just reminds you to take a step back and view things from their point. Misconceptions may also present themselves as a misapplication of a rule. It can oftentimes be really hard to diagnose misconceptions, especially for me at the elementary level, because I can't get inside of their heads, and a lot of times they don't have the vocabulary to express their difficulties to me. So that's an area of growth for me personally. The teaching challenge is to hashtag cause conceptual change, to have students give up the inaccurate conception that they currently hold in favor of an accurate one. And this is from page 209. I think that's where we become frustrated a lot. Hashtag multiple choice. In order to really diagnose where those misunderstandings and misconceptions are, our distractors on multiple choice tests need to be plausible options, and that's what's going to help us pinpoint them. It's like handing them a kaleidoscope. They can shake to shift the patterns. This was on page 235. I love this quote. I think I want this picture on my wall, actually. It just inspires me to continue to make an effort to keep my students going, keep them motivated. On page 238, there was a quote, while we want to challenge students, we don't want to overwhelm them. And I think along with that, we need to make sure we're scaffolding and not rescuing our students, inspiring that hard work, and really congratulating them when they do so. Hashtag goals. So this is my big takeaway for the course. I want to set up a class that has an environment, the student said, this class makes me feel better about myself. And I think that's why we all teach, and that's certainly what I want to do in my classroom moving forward.